Hi there, and these comments are for a student who is you're doing my free writing evaluation service I offer over at my website, and I am Michael Buckoff from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. Happy Halloween to you. Woo! Right? So how are you doing today? I'm looking at the essay right now. Let's see. Okay, I think overall this is a very well written essay. I gave you 4.0 out of 5, 25 points out of 30. Uh, if you look at the actual IBT rubrics that ETS uses to score this, okay, we have a response is also scored at this level if it has more frequent or noticeable minor language errors. As long as such usage and grammatical structures do not result in anything more than the occasional lapse of clarity or in the connection of ideas. So the grammar errors you have, they really don't affect the meaning in any way. So that's good. So I think that's why I'm going to keep you in the 4 area. Okay, let's take a look at one of your paragraphs. So the article introduces a topic of autonomous cars technology. I'm going to just say autonomous car technology. To be specific, the writer discusses the positive effects of these cars. In the listening, the professor challenges the claims, and you want to put, there's more than one, right? Challenges the claims made by the author. Yeah, what if you did this? What if you reduce... We're going to change this, give you some advanced grammar here. So challenging the claims made by the author. The speaker believes so challenging the claims made by the author, the speaker believes these cars can be dangerous and attacks each claim made by the author. Right off the bat, this is probably a little too informal. You might say, immediately the writer starts by saying, just say claims or states. The writer states that the software used by these cars are designed to not make mistakes, which makes a vehicle safer. What if we give you a little bit more hints? So we'll put this here, creating safer vehicles. So the writer states that the software used by these cars are designed to not make mistakes, hence creating safer vehicles. The problem is you're repeating the word make twice. So for the TOEFL, you don't want to get stuck with the same word too many times. You want to show you have a range of vocabulary. So in this case, we'll change it to creating, and we're using hence, creating safer vehicles. The speaker can test this, but I think a good signal word so you can say converse with the speaker, contests this viewpoint, or how about this? Yeah, you got too many short sentences. It's killing your syntactic variety. It's killing it, right? You don't want to do that. What if you did this though? What if you said the speaker contesting this viewpoint establishes that the software and I'm going to use software as a uncount noun. The software was actually designed by humans and humans can make mistakes. And how about get rid of that adjective clause because we can. Don't use clauses if you can use phrases. Don't use phrases if you can use single words. Reducing the clauses of phrases as single words makes the writing a little more concise, resulting in the car having an accident. He goes on to say that the car this is a problem. The car actually was driven. This is your real first language use issue. In this case, you want passive voice. He goes on to say that the car that the test car driven. We got too many that's in there. That's clutter. Get rid of clutter. He goes on to say that the test car driven 700,000 miles without an accident did hit a car last month. The writer also claims that these cars are good for the environment as it makes driving efficient. But wait a minute, these cars are good for the environment? No, it looks like it goes back to cars, right? Let's do this. The writer also claims that these cars are good for the environment in as much as they make driving efficient Okay, let's see here. You might say, and they also reduce traffic congestion. In as much as they make driving efficient, and they also reduce traffic congestion. Again, the professor believes that there are faults in this viewpoint. I think it's important at these key junctures you throw a word in there to show the difference of relationship. However, the professor believes that there are faults in this. These are just typos. They won't count against you, by the way. The professor believes that there are faults in this viewpoint. Let's give you a little bit different sentence variety here. The professor who believes that there are faults in this viewpoint asserts the professor who believes that there are faults in this viewpoint asserts that having these cards does not require We have a driver's license. As anyone could drive it, which will result in more cars on the road, which in turn increases pollution. Finally, the writer brings this point to a close by stating that these cars can make occupants have extra time to do things like reading. In contrast, the professor is doubtful that this is correct. Let's throw a semicolon in there. You haven't done that yet, right? Let's do this. The professor is doubtful that this is correct. He advises that this extra time can make people take on extra work, as some people enjoy driving. But some people may not prefer, let's take this idea here. Some people may not prefer autonomous cars because they enjoy driving. To take their mind off things. As you can see, I wouldn't use that. Just say clearly, the writer and the professor hold. You have A views, but it should be just conflicting views. You don't want to use an article like A with a plural count noun. You don't want to do that, right? So just say clearly the writer and the professor hold conflicting views about autonomous cars. Right? So that's it. So these would be some changes. Yeah, I don't know. It seems the more that I read it, the more changes I made. So I think there's one area you could make improvements in, which I think will help increase your score a little bit, and that is syntactic variety. You'll notice I combined a lot of your sentences. You have the tendency to use shorter, simpler sentences, and that doesn't really show advanced writing proficiency. So you can do better with your syntactic variety. You also had a few errors. You sometimes have what I call systematic errors. You might be missing an S here or there. You might have a problem with a determiner like a and or the, something like that. But like I said, none of it really affects the meaning of your ideas. So you seem to be pretty comfortable and have good control over your writing. So I'm going to say your score is probably between 3.75 and 4. I think the E-Rater that TOEFL uses, the writing scoring engine, it's not going to like all of your shorter, simpler sentences. That's one thing that you will get docked. You will score lower in that area. So you want to make sure you improve with your length. You need maybe longer sentences. Try to go between 20 and 30 words in most cases, and usually that keeps you from having too many shorter type sentences. All right, and thank you for doing this practice test.